Hi, friends. Welcome back to another session of RPC Money Talks, where we get real about money and what it takes to run the kind of business and life that lights you up. I'm Katie Mass, Director of Community here at Rock Paper Coin, and your host today. If we haven't met before, we're a platform that is built for small business owners just like you, that's designed to make invoicing, contracts, and payments easy and affordable, which, let's be honest, we all need. Today, we're talking about a topic that's a little hot, a little touchy, and so very important. Point blank, we're going to be talking about giving credit where credit is due. As a business working with so many different pros, tagging your fellow artists and project collaborators isn't just etiquette, it's marketing currency. So when credit is missed, feelings get hurt, reputations take a hit, and your direct opportunities get lost. So, joining me today is someone who literally built a platform to celebrate collaboration. The
Yes.
powerhouse behind PartySlate, Julie, is with us today. My friend, welcome to Money Talks.
Thank you for having me. And believe it or not, I've done about 100 webinars, podcasts, over the years, never one specifically on crediting. So kudos, shout out to you for doing it because there's so many layers to crediting and collaboration that we're going to talk about today. And it's core in this industry.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you saw it. I actually jumped on Instagram just a little bit ago because we had a little prep call, and even just our prep call, we were rolling and we were collaborating and we were having a good time back and forth with banter because when you are so fired up about something that you know is deeply, deeply important and you want to get that good information out there, it is magic. So I am so excited about this chat today. And I ask this to every guest because I think it's important and I love how different everyone's answers are. So before we dive into the details, could you give us a little intro? Obviously, who you are, what you do, all the fun
Sure.
stuff. And more importantly, why is this conversation so important to have today?
Yes. So again, my name's Julie Novack, CEO and co-founder of PartySlate. Started the company almost 10 years ago, which I can't believe.
Wild.
And when people ask, how did you think of starting PartySlate? I was the client of many people on this Zoom or people that will be listening. I was planning about, 30 or 40 events a year, some years bigger ones, some years smaller ones. I was at a digital agency called razorfishagency.com and then a SaaS mobile marketing platform. But I believe in the power of events, whether it's recruiting, sales incentive trips. I've always been the person, I'll do the fundraiser for the school or helping with cancer research that's near and dear to my heart. I have a lot of cancer in my family. I did this annual fundraiser for the Lynn Sage Cancer Research Foundation. And in one single night, we raised 80% of our target. One night. It's the power of connection, the power of the perfectly timed ask, the power of connecting to something bigger than yourselves and putting your screens down. We feel driven to really help people celebrate the moments that matter and build lifelong memories, whether it's cancer research and raising money or celebrating employees. But when I was planning all these events and I knew how important they were, I didn't have really a platform that was speaking to me as a corporate nonprofit event planner at a company on the company side. And as a technologist, I saw that there was wedding only platforms that were focused on all things weddings, but not something really helping me find that perfect venue, find the planner, find the decor company. So I redesigned my kitchen using Houzz, Houzz,
Love.
a bit obsessed. And in the early days of Houzz, it was more like PartySlate, where it was more just about the connections with the best home professionals. And after using it for a year, I just felt like lightning struck. And I saw that I needed something like this for the events I was planning as a user of it, not as an event professional. So when I started talking to the Four Seasons Chicago, I'm based in Chicago. I talked to planners. I'm a good networker. So I started talking to people that had done events with me and I started, understanding what their challenges were and understanding how the industry worked. And I realized this is something people need to share, not just weddings, but have a photo-rich platform to share their content, which is the currency of this industry in many ways. Back to this webinar, one of the core insights I had, along with my really smart team that's smarter than I am, is that crediting was critical. And how could we create a LinkedIn style crediting system that when you credit the photographer or the planner, your photos automatically show up on their page?
Amazing.
We think Instagram led the way for PartySlate, because before Instagram, credits were hidden. The planner and the venue and the photographer maybe, but
Yes.
I don't know. Do I have to give credit to the tent company, the decor company? It wasn't so public. It was like, I'm planning this event and I hold these relationships. But Instagram changed that forever. If you don't credit appropriately on Instagram, you will be a pariah in this
Oh
industry.
yeah.
And
Oh
so
yeah.
the reason why I think this webinar is so important is crediting and relationships and referrals are the heartbeat of the events industry. And sure, everyone knows you need to have your credit block. To me, that is just the icing on the cake, the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more things we're going to talk about today that will lead to best practices to help you grow your business and deepen your relationships through crediting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You hit on so many things. I can't even, but first of all, house. I
Yeah.
was right there with you, like
Yeah.
obsessed. Just so fun down a rabbit hole. And I find that every time I go on Party Slate too, I'm just down a rabbit. It's
Yeah.
inspiring and it's so this and it's so great. And I think that, social media was so wonderful in the early days for getting inspiration. And you're just like in this endless flow and swipe of just all these things. But, when you can get into something that's a little bit more
Mhm.
curated, a little bit more personal, a little bit
Yeah.
more intentional, and there's not ads and all these things that are popping up
Yeah.
at you, and all of a sudden, you're looking for a party inspiration, and then your best friend's baby pops out of nowhere, like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we always say
great.
Instagram and Pinterest and other, which you can't forget about,
Yep.
TikTok are a lean back experience. So you're looking, you're exploring top of funnel. A lean in experience is like, oh God, I'm going to Google or Chat GPT. I need a venue. And you're leaning in. And of course, you're going to look at their Instagram page. It's 7 to 10 touch points. We know that. Even if it's a referral, it's 7 to 10 touch points. So PartySlate and other, third-party platforms come in when you have a higher intention, you're looking for something, you're in surgical mode, like I have a date and I need to get something, and you turn to a Google, top venues in Chicago, top planners in New York. PartySlate's worked really hard to earn our way from SEO perspective to being, page one. So we've had over 4 million people visit PartySlate in the last, 12 months. And about 5 or 6% are event professionals looking at each other, but the vast majority are people that have budget to spend. Some of them are looky-loos. We can't control that. They don't have the right budget. But if you get, I don't know, 100, 150 inquiries from PartySlate, we hope 2 or 3 of those end up, or at least influencing that you close business.
Well, I am proud of you. Women in tech, we are always hyping each other up. We got to stay together. And
Yes,
you're doing such big things. So again, thank you for being here. I
I'm
really
so
appreciate
happy to be
that.
here.
So, first of all, what I do want everyone to know is we have all forgotten to tag someone or give
Yes.
someone credit. Okay. It is okay.
Mhm.
We have been there. Julie and I have been there. Like
Yeah.
we are human. We love you. This is a judgment-free zone.
Yes.
Julie, I think people underestimate how powerful crediting is.
Yes.
Maybe people think that it's for fun or they just think it's proper, it's
Mhm.
manners. And I think that there's even some cases where they think it's legal, like if it's part of an agreement or a
Mhm.
partnership, totally, right? Like that's
Yeah.
absolutely it. But outside of all of that, what a lot of people don't realize is that it's actually strategy.
Yes, it
And
is. So it's so core to how this industry works. And I think people understand it, but I don't think they fully understand the damage that can be done if you don't have I would call it, I'm a business geek, a standard operating procedure, an SOP
yeah,
for how you credit and when you credit. And crediting strategy starts when you first get invited in to be a vendor or you win the business.
yeah,
And it starts that early on who's the point person. It's typically the planner, but not always. Sometimes there's a case where there's a client side planner. There's not a professional planner working on it. So there has to be a point person. And you said earlier, we've all forgotten, to credit. Sometimes you're given the wrong credits. It's
Yes.
not even your fault. It's the credit master. Maybe I come up with a credit quarterback, I'll call it the credit quarterback, who has missed someone
Yeah.
important or had a typo in a Instagram handle. So from my perspective, thinking about the crediting and how it's going to work starts in the earliest days of joining an event team. And maybe if you've worked together 3 or 4 times or more than that, you kind of have a system, but don't underestimate the importance of, you know, who is our owner of our credit block, so to speak, and how, people are added last minute, like who's going to keep it up to date at how, and then also the how you credit. Sometimes a planner is in a position where they want to post first. And maybe you're a photographer that was brought in by that planner. I've had a situation where a planner said to me, I will never work with that photographer again. They posted in advance of when I was ready to have the curated story I wanted to tell. And again, that doesn't happen that often, but I would talk about it. I would talk about it. Are you going to be okay posting, behind the scenes? Even I was in another situation where someone did a behind the scenes post and didn't credit. Behind the
Yeah,
scenes is a form of content. And
totally.
if you're doing a behind the scenes and not crediting, shame on you. You should be.
Yeah. Watch out.
So I think you got to think about the process, who's the owner, and the how you're going to credit.
Yeah, and I love that. And I think about it as your digital credit trail, right?
Mhm.
It's your professional reputation. And
Yeah.
tagging is the new handshake, is how I
Yeah.
like to think about it, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just about being nice.
Mhm.
It really is, it's free marketing math.
Yes.
When you
Yes.
tag correctly, you're borrowing audiences, you're
Yes.
cross-pollinating, okay,
Yes.
which leads to bigger and better SEO. And you're showing future clients that you play well with others, which is huge. And
Yes.
let's be honest, we know in this industry that your reputation is everything. And when it's gone,
Yes.
it is very, very difficult to get back. And clients are looking at you and at least five other vendors before
Yes.
you know that you're an option. We know
Yeah.
that. So that reputation matters, who you've worked with in the past, and
Mhm.
how you both even just spoke to each other and about each other matters. Where
Yes.
you've worked in the past matters because it tells a story of your resume and
Mhm.
why they might feel comfortable wanting to book you and continue to further that relationship with you. So,
Yes.
could not have kicked off a better way to
Yes.
start talking about this. So, let's talk about the messy part of this topic because people get heated about this, and rightfully so. I've seen this blow up firsthand from really small misunderstandings at first to absolute full blown reputation derailing. And I know you have definitely seen it happen from your side too. So let's talk about what actually happens when credits get missed or someone reposts content without tagging the right people. Like, and I'm not talking about surface level, like, oh, they forgot me. That's a bummer. Maybe on the next one. I mean, the ripple effect, the
Yeah.
lost trust, the awkward DM that follows, the should I say something? Should I let it go? It's just
Yeah.
situations that linger. Let's dive into that. What actually happens?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, just like a good relationship with your husband or a friend, I think over communication is important. So if you have a little feel of a slight and you worked on this project and whatever, I would just give the person the benefit, the doubt that it was an oversight. And oftentimes, especially if it's in a feed, it's not too late to be, to be added to the credits, or it could be fixed. So I would start by saying, oftentimes it's a miscommunication or they were given the wrong credits or whatever. If you're in like a lawsuit with them and they left you off, I would just let it be, right? But most times it's just a mistake. So I would over communicate. I would, tech, if you worked with this person, you probably have their text. I would just say, hey, not a big deal, but do you mind adding me? I was missed on your last post. I was so great working with you. Here's my Instagram handle, just to make sure they have it. I think most times they're going to come back and say, sure, so sorry. I wouldn't be one of those people to be like, you deliberately left me out. And I've seen that before. I
Yep.
remember an intern that was working for a very senior designer was assigned to do some of this social media. This intern didn't know. And again, just give the benefit of the doubt that, hey, something probably happened here. Just want to get ahead of it. So for the next post or the next behind the scenes, that we're tagged properly. And then that's also important to always have that credit block ready to go. What we like to do is we do, about 10 large scale events a year. And it's all, through partnership relationships, mainly with our premium members that are members at PartySlate, giving them incredible exposure. But in exchange, they are investing in this event. We have to get crediting right. Like there's no room for error here. So we fully own the credit block. We email it the day in advance. And we're also starting to text it to people as well so that they have it ready to go on their phone. I like it personally in the credit block where it says the role, venue, photographer, etc. But I also like it with just the handles. If you're going to do a story and you want to just copy and paste just the handles, not the full block on a post, that you have those as well. And so I think text chain or WhatsApp, whatever you're using, the day before and the day of the event, there's a better chance that there's not going to be miscrediting. It's also a good time to share, hey, remember, guys, we're going to wait until we get the professional photos. It's okay to do some behind the scenes. If you are, here's where you tag people, but really discouraging, this
Yep.
incredible photographer has been hired to shoot the event. And usually they're going to get you those sneak peeks as soon as possible. We like to defer to those photographers to make sure that it's the pro photos, not the, not, they're not always grainy, but the iPhone photos. We
Yep.
understand you want to get real, stories going, but on your feed, I think it's always great to wait 24 hours until you get those pro photos.
I love the trick about texting
Yeah.
the handles to everybody.
Yeah.
So great
And more
because
than
everyone
once.
has their phone.
More than once, like you do it ahead of time, and then the morning of, hey, if you're doing behind the scenes, we're posting, right, remember the pro photos, we're going to get sneak peeks in 24 hours or 2 days. But if you are, and no one can stop you, obviously, credit, credit, credit. It's not only good for your partners, it's good for you. You're going to get 10x the amplification by crediting people. People will reshare. It's coming from your brand. So take control of the content, but
Mhm.
always make sure you have the credits at your fingertips.
Yeah, I love that. If anyone does that already or has given that a try, let us know in the chat. I would
Yeah,
love
I'd love
to
to know
know.
anyone's, tips and tricks and what they do.
Yes.
You need that organized, and it's typically the planner person to be organizing and over communicating. It shouldn't be a last minute thing like, oh, by the way, here's the credits. It should be, hey, reminder, if you're posting your own content to credit, here's two forms. Here's the block, here's just the handles. And remember, we're really gonna wait till we get the pro photos to do our big posts.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. It just builds excitement as a team as
Yeah.
well, which is the whole part of this. Your
Yes.
team, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so yeah, uh, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Absolutely great.
Yes.
I think the part that, for so many people that they linger and hesitate on saying anything or do anything is because that emotional fallout is real,
Yes.
real.
Yeah.
Take a styled shoot, for instance. You spend weeks, money, resources, all the time in the world creating something beautiful, and then someone else gets the credit,
Yeah.
right? It's like throwing a dinner party and not being invited to
Mhm.
your own table.
Yes.
And when we were talking about this, you had an amazing secondary
Yes.
tip
Yeah.
about,
So when I started Party Slate, I'm like, why would you do a styled shoot when you have hundreds of thousands of photos? And I didn't get the concept. And I don't like the styled shoot where you're like, that's a styled shoot. There's the centerpiece is 10 feet tall. You can't see across the table, where we have these incredible real event photos. But what I started to understand about the style shoot is it's a next level of relationship building with those partners that could lead to business. And for newer event professionals that are building their book, it's a great way to build up their photo portfolio that they may not have, like the more experience. So I started to understand Okay, now I understand that. But what if you did a simple twist on the styled shoot and made it a little industry event? So
Mm,
instead of this just this beautiful table for 12 that looks like a clear styled shoot, what about making that table for 12 and invite those partners and maybe a couple even planners to a little dinner party, get a caterer
like,
there. And I feel that people smell styled shoots. And because we have all this real events content, I think the styled shoot can be a creative relationship building exploration plus a mini industry event. And then I would just say, hey, it's a dinner party. It's a beautiful dinner party. It's a beautiful cocktail party. It doesn't have to be 100 people, like 200 people, like PartySlate does. It could be just 10 people that are breaking bread together and shooting that with people there versus the stereotypical styled shoot in the middle of a field that you know darn well is not a real event. So I think
yeah,
people crave authenticity. And so I don't think styled, I once thought styled shoots are across the board not a good thing, but now I have a deep understanding of how those relationships are built and how it's an investment in those partnerships. So just that little additional twist of having the people, eat together or whatever, then
yeah.
it becomes a legit event with a gorgeous table. you know,
Yes. And oh
yeah,
my gosh, if you didn't have a caterer as part of that styled shoot, you DoorDash Chipotle and
yeah,
put Chipotle on those pretty plates
yeah,
and you have
yeah,
a blast and
yeah.
all of that is going to feel so great and so fun.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a four-course dinner. It could be one of your caterer friends. We all have caterer friends that want to build relationships with these venues and planners.
Yes.
And it could be simple light apps and a few drinks. And then you have the photos of the people celebrating with the drinks. So it looks real. And you have that added. We just want to celebrate and invest in this relationship.
I love that because it's not all about hurt feelings,
Yes.
right? It doesn't have to all be the negative. And I think that owning a business is hard enough
Yeah.
that we almost let just all of the what ifs consume us,
Yes.
then the what ifs become reality.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
And
we
so,
trip up and we make these little mistakes and then we don't know how to
yeah.
get out of it. And it's just so much. And this is just such a clever way
Yes.
of inviting and opening the door in your
Yes.
own community or even just a thank you for the people
Yeah.
that were part of it. It's
Yeah.
just such a wonderful way of like really, truly, authentically bringing that collaboration together full
Yeah.
circle.
I think it's a great way. And also, some of these photo shoots, people want to do things that their client may not let them do. So they want to do something breakthrough. They want to do something different that maybe they can't get someone to pay for. I would also encourage you to network with your local WIPA, NACE, ILEA, MPI, and say, hey, do you have an upcoming event? Instead of a styled shoot on your own, I would like to be a sponsor of this event and have a room that has a fabulous table that can be shot. I think there's way like 1 + 1 = 3 with styled shoots that you can connect yourself to something bigger. So that investment you made goes farther than just doing it on your own. And I know that's not always easy, but I know these associations are always looking for sponsors. They don't have dollars to
Always.
spend. And then they're your marketing arm amplifying this event. So I'm a believer, if you're going to do a styled shoot, see if you can make it go a little farther for you by connecting it to a small industry event of your own. Could be 8 to 10 people, could be 20 people, or a local industry association that's tied to the type of business you want to get that will help you get 10x the exposure.
You are on a roll, girl. I love
You
that.
know why it's so important to me, because I love this industry and I feel like these the event professionals are some of the hardest working people in the industry. They give up weekends, they give up nights. It's like putting on a stressful Broadway show every night of the week, and no one has the time to do something that's not going to pay back in leads, inquiries, or relationship investment. And so if you're going to do something like that and you're exhausted, how am I going to find time for this? Make it go further for you so that it's not just a styled shoot to do a styled shoot.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, we said it's about strategy. We were going to throw strategy in here. So
Yes.
collect all this info. Okay, so we've talked about the problem. Problem
Yes.
has entered the chat. Now I want to talk about solutions.
Yes.
So imagine, my friend, you are sitting on stage right now with all these bright faces just staring straight at you instead of in the chats, and they are just soaking up all of your amazing answers. what are some of your top favorite tips for pros who want to get this right? Because
Yes.
I did see quite a lot in the registration where it was a lot of pros who registered for this said, I just want to know if what I'm doing is right. I
Yes.
think I'm
Yes.
doing it right. I just want to
Yes.
make sure. So,
Yes.
they want to get this right, and build strong credit systems in
Yes.
your workflow. So that's what
Yes.
I want to highlight here.
Yes.
It's not just about knowing a strategy or the best tips and all that. This starts from your workflow.
Yeah, so I have a one pager that we use internally that I'm going to share with everyone who's registered on this. And I'm going to send it to you later. I have to do a little bit of cleanup and actually got some good insights from you that I want to make sure I add in. But I think you need an SOP, and thank God for ChatGPT because it can help you create standard operating procedures
Yeah.
on crediting. And so it starts with the expectations and the communication when you join a team, who roles and responsibilities, who's doing what, who's communicating. Like, hey, there's a new AV company that joined the day before. Like, who's the person keeping this, file of all the credits and the best practices on how to get that out to the team. And then also like the when and when you share it. And then I also want to make sure people know I love Instagram. That's my lead channel. We have, close to 400,000 followers of PartySlate. We have a great live community, but I don't want you to forget about Facebook and, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever your top two or three platforms are. What we do at times is we share on Instagram, but then and share to Facebook, but then you have to go link the credits in Facebook. Sometimes it's owned by the same company, Meta, you guys know that, but sometimes the credits, the Instagram handles, don't translate to crediting, linking on Facebook. It takes 2 seconds to pull up Facebook. And I know for the younger people on the call, you're like, no one uses Facebook. People use Facebook. And
Yeah.
especially I'm
Yeah.
on the older side, the credit, the tagging, you would be surprised at the traction you can get with people that may be on the older side, but may have the money and be on your target list that you want to, they could be the mother of the bride. There's a lot of people out there. So making sure you get it right. And then don't forget LinkedIn. Only 2 or 3% of LinkedIn users share content. If you become one of them, you're going to get an outsized amount of traction on LinkedIn. People are using LinkedIn more than just looking for jobs. It's become a source of content, especially in the business community. People are looking through feeds. So if you become, maybe it's just once a week that you're thinking about a LinkedIn post, crediting on LinkedIn is very powerful when you credit people. So don't forget that as another channel. I'm not a TikTok expert, but I can tell you from my three teenagers, you need to be thinking about TikTok and you need to have a strategy for TikTok. And that's a completely different form of crediting. It's the same, similar
Yeah.
essence, but it's different. And I'm not an expert on it, but I know many on the call probably are. But think about your 3 or 4 channels. And I also would love to share how PartySlate's tackled crediting. If I can share my screen for a second,
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
I would love to share. Let me just get over to. We always starts with Google. So remember I talked about the lean back of Instagram. Absolutely, you have to have your good social media. But when someone's looking for, I always get nervous doing a live Google search because what's going to come up. But PartySlate is always 1 or 2.
Great.
I don't know how Best Venues in New York, not a very good website, but I don't know how they beat us. But almost every city, we're number 1 or 2 for top X in Chicago, top Y. And the crediting starts almost right away when you get to our directory because our directory actually it's based on what level of membership you have, but within that we look at the number of credits and the number of connections that you have that is connected to how you're placed in the directory. So when you go to, let's say, the Plaza, we've been working with them for many years, you can see right away it's a stunning, many profiles have similar rotating cover photos, but there's something different here that I want to point out. In addition to being able to highlight all your event spaces, we have this real events gallery. So it's not just weddings, it's galas, it's conferences, it's fundraisers. Of course, weddings tends to be the biggest because they're the most shareable. But in each of these, there's an opportunity to credit. And on the left-hand side, this one only has two, but the left-hand side is where you have your stunning, beautiful credit list. And this is where I think people underestimate the importance of having all these credits on the left-hand side. And I'll show one that's more further built out, but this is super important. And that comes through in your vendor connections. So this is kind of our version of LinkedIn. It's not a person-based LinkedIn, it's a company-based LinkedIn. So the Plaza, when they credit people, or even when they're credited, every event planner that's ever been credited is going to show up here. This is like shelf space. You know how like, Pepsi and Coke pays for shelf space in the grocery? The only way to get this is to earn your way in by having an event on PartySlate and having those credits. So crediting here literally means you're going to show up here on the left-hand side. This is like a little mini blog. It's Amy Katz posted this one. You can see all the credits here. When it's in gold, that means this event's going to show up on their profile page as a credited event. And so what we also did, which was really fun, is you can copy the credits and actually post them directly on Instagram. And what we found is a lot of people don't have all the credits for events that have happened a long time ago. And so you can actually go in directly into search my photos. This is back of house, PartySlate Pro. So this is the Plaza Hotel. All of their thousands and thousands of photos are here. And let's say someone is very interested, you're interested in posting on social media, their iconic staircase, or a client is interested in their iconic staircase, you can actually look at this staircase, click into it, and show a client all like a rotating albums of these staircases. But what's also interesting is if you click into the photo, you can actually get the handles and hashtags right here. You
Love
can
it.
also generate AI powered hashtags. And again, if you have some people are pro hashtags, some people are anti. We think the high ranking hashtags, why not add them? We know the credits are the most important. You can copy those into your clipboard. You can download this photo and then you go right to Instagram. And I like to post through my desktop. I know a lot of people like to post directly from their phone, but you can get that photo that I just downloaded. And then you just click next, next, and then you paste those credits in Instagram handles. Like that took
So
3 minutes. And then what it does is it lowers my anxiety level that I'm going to get the credits wrong because
yes,
someone actually entered these into
yes,
PartySlate. And if there is a mistake, you can always say, hey, the credits that were entered by Marcy Bloom or by whoever, maybe there was a missing one. I'm happy to add you. But
yeah.
it takes a little of the stress
It does. Thank you for
out of,
sharing that. That is
yeah,
so great to be able to just visually see
yes,
and, just see the process and earning
yes,
credit. Okay, I love that because one thing I tell people is make crediting part of your process, not your
yes,
feelings.
yes,
You're taking something that feels personal and emotional, and you're turning it into a standard business operating
it
system.
is.
And
Mhm.
I've heard people say, I tag people when I remember to, or I
Yeah,
only credit when I feel like it's worth it to me. But that's not up to you. When
it's,
other people's work is included with your own. Because take for instance, look at these pictures. There is not just one person that is responsible for those photos. It
yeah.
takes a
And you
team.
can see like this is probably 8 to 10 event professionals, core event professionals for all of these. And then I think it's, a topic we talked about earlier is, do you have to credit everyone? That comes in the communication. So I've heard people like Marcy Bloom and others say, I don't have to credit the nail polish, vendor. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like it gets to be too much. That's
Yeah.
all in the communication. You were maybe invited in, or it's your event. You decide you've got to do like the top five, top six. I think that's really important. But some people believe, listen, my tent vendor is my tent vendor. I pay them and I'm going to decide. It's just all about communication. So you're not going to have hurt feelings. And here's the credit block we're all using. And this is, the standard. But one thing we think if you're using Dropbox or using Google Drive for your photos, we're trying to make this a visual AI Dropbox so that your credits are directly connected to all of your photos, so that you can go really quickly. You got all, this one doesn't happen to have, this is a private event, so it doesn't have credits, but you can track all the information about the event and all your credits either privately or publicly. And again, I'm not going to make any changes here because this is the Plaza's back. They've given me permission to share it, but this is their back of house.
Thank you,
But we
Plaza.
think if you're using Dropbox, that's fine. We are building a better solution. We have the beginnings of a beautiful photo management solution, but you got to connect your credits with the photos. It can't be in two different folders, so that when
Yeah.
you need to access it, you talked about workflow, you need to go back to your old events. What's old is new. Don't worry, like people don't know the event was 2 years ago. You've got to have those credits at your fingertips, which is what we're trying to do with PartySlate Pro.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing because it is so helpful to use a platform like yours that really does truly celebrate that kind of collaboration
Yes.
and ensures that it's set up for success, not only on your end, but also for anyone using it, so that there's really no room for error there with
Yes. Yeah.
crediting.
And if you're not using it, there's a lot of different solutions out there. This one pager that I've put together, and I'm going to upgrade it based on this conversation, and I can send out to everyone. You just have to have a process and a system and a workflow. It includes communication, platforms, best practices, and beginning of event, middle of event, end of event, after event.
That's right.
And that's, if you have that written down and agreed to, and again, I'm not trying to make this like, this is not like a 2 hour activity. It's probably like a 10-minute discussion in the beginning, a 15-minute discussion in the middle, and then probably a little bit more detailed 30-minute conversation the day before the event. Because the worst thing that happens is everyone's collecting their beautiful live shots, et cetera, behind the scenes. And if credits are missed there, it's a big missed opportunity, not only for them, but for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Okay, let's get practical here because these days, when you say marketing, people's eyes get so wide, especially marketing impact. It is a hot topic these days. And I know we were talking about it a little bit earlier. You see examples where proper crediting has led directly to bookings
Yes.
or even just major exposure
Yes.
at
Yeah.
Party Slate.
Yeah.
Um,
So what we've
yeah.
heard is, and what we can see in our analytics is, people typically pick a venue first. It's sometimes a planner that helps to create the venue, but sometimes there's a work that's done in advance before you have your planner, whether it's wedding or corporate. And so we have proof on our platform that when people are looking at that venue page, and they're creating a short list, they're also looking at planners and photographers that have worked at that venue. So we can
That's
see that kind of, whether they reach out directly or not, they're starting to build their own short list. Oh, it looks like Sonal Shaw has done a lot of work at the Plaza, and the Plaza
right.
is oh, it looks like Amy Katz, it looks like Norma Cohn, whatever you're looking at. In some cases, the planner is picked first, and they look at the planner page and they're like, wow, look at these 50 venues that this planner has worked with. You might inspire some ideas for venues because it's connected to planners. So the same thing happens on Instagram. When you're in this little bit more lean back mode, you're looking through Instagram, your event's coming up, you probably have a date, you're thinking about it, and you see a stunning planner that you're starting to follow, and you see the photographers that they work with. And then you follow to those photographers and you start to create a short list of photographers. So you guys know this is how it works, but I think if you think about it strategically, the more you can credit and link, the better. So just one example, when you're on Instagram, you're doing a feed post, make sure you also, and many people do this, but some people are, quick, they want to post it, also tag the photo as well. So
Yep.
tag the photo, because that makes it really easy for them to share on stories. And again, I know you guys know all of this, but I do see maybe 50% of the posts I see just have the mandatory credit block
Yeah.
without the photos being, I know I'm making this up to 50%, but I'm on Instagram a lot. And so that means 50% of the people, maybe they have an intern doing it, maybe they don't have time, maybe they don't think it's worth it, are not also tagging the photo. And maybe you don't have to tag all 20 partners, maybe you tag the top 5 in the photo. That's really important. Another thing is coming up with a strategy on, are you going to collaborate on a post? And I'd love to know people's thought on this webinar on collaboration. We're seeing it more and more. It has to be strategic on, do you want to collaborate or do you want to control your own content? Do you accept collaborations? I don't have all the answers. I'd love, Katie, to hear your perspective, but Julie PartySlate is our B2B kind of channel, business to business, like industry and all the events we're having, the webinars. PartySlate is our B2C, business to consumer, and people using PartySlate. So we're less likely to do a collaboration on our business to consumer because our feed is so important and the look and the crediting. But on B2B, Julie PartySlate, I accept all claim. If we did an event together, I don't mean to say whatever, but I don't, my feed is all about, we're in the know, we're connectors, we're doing new things for this industry. It's not about being a beautiful event feed. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, I think also that feature of um, archiving or moving off of your main feed, off of your main page, was a fantastic addition to
Yeah.
Instagram
Yeah.
because that collaboration could live there for 48 hours. It
Yes.
could live there for a weekend.
Yeah.
It could live there for a very short period of time so that, you celebrate the team, you celebrate the success, you celebrate the hard work, you're doing all the things, and then it's back to business as usual and your feed goes back to the way
Yeah.
it is. I think also I see a lot of people not taking advantage of reel covers.
Yes.
And, and I hear two sides to it as well. Some people are confused thinking, oh, that's not a reel, or I don't know what that reel is because I can't see the preview because you have a pretty cover on it. But at the same time, for someone who has a brand that is just solely based on aesthetics and
Yeah.
looking very, very polished, and you want your entire digital footprint to tell a story, then use those reel covers, let them
Yeah.
tell the story, and maybe get a little bit more creative. I do see, I too, I'm on Instagram, all the socials really all day for rock paper coin. And I do see that there are some that I come across where I'm like, well, that was a funny reel, but you literally have a photo of like a gorgeous peony like
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
cover. Like I never would have known.
It has to be
Uh,
relevant, you don't want like a clickbaity cover,
Correct.
like this is going to be, a
Yes.
royal wedding, and then it's a how-to video. So it has to be
Yes. Keep
relevant,
it
but
relevant.
I tend to agree that a relevant cover is, picking a photo
Yeah.
that is engaging versus a fuzzy photo that may not look so professional is 9 times out of 10 a better strategy. And I just also want to emphasize that reels are going to get you so much more exposure than just the carousel. I think the carousel is great and you should do it, but reels are more likely to go viral if they get some initial momentum and a lot of comments and everything. So
Ah,
I think don't forget about reels. And I know it's so much work to do all of this, but I think if you, again, back to your own social media strategy, if you put an hour a week in your calendar, like this is the day I am going to do a reel, I am going to do extra, and then maybe the other days are just a standard post. Coming up with your cadence for posting, and you have your crediting ready to go, you have your SOP, so that's not going to take you that long. I think if you don't write it down, you're going to continue to beat yourself up. Like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I should do more. But if you have a simple, and again, ChatGPT can help you come up with a cadence of, I'm going to post once a day and I'm going to do one reel a week, and put it in your calendar that you're going to make the time for it. And some reels sometimes don't even take that long to create. We make them because, oh, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect.
oh yeah.
But done is better than perfect, is what I will say.
I have to tell myself that every day.
Yeah.
Nora, everyone knows Nora, right? Nora Rock Paper Coin. She's like, Katie, where's the thing? And I'm like, well, and she's like, I promise it's great. I
Yeah.
promise it's great. It's
Yeah.
great, girl. You did it. Like you
Yeah.
did it. Let it be free. And they
Yeah.
just, you get so caught up in it. And it's something
Yeah.
that's so personal, but really, really do
Yeah.
just free.
And I think the great thing is if you write down your cadence, then you have this, personal board of directors that's on you. Like, I committed to you, Nora, that we're going to do one a day. So it's got to be done.
Yeah,
It's got to be done, and it's going to be as good as it's going to be. And the most important thing is keeping up your cadence and keeping up your content strategy and, what you want to post and when. That is the most important thing. And I think it just takes a little pressure off. We have day jobs. We're running companies. We have events that you guys are doing. You can't be a full-time social media person. You likely don't have. If you have a contractor, that's great. But even if you have that contractor, come up with that one pager on how often you're going to post, what are your key channels, what is your content strategy. Maybe one day a week it's about behind the scenes. One day a week it's a throwback. You don't have to say throwback, but it's something you've done in the past 2 years. What is your cadence and your strategy? It's going to lower the guilt and I'm not doing enough and the miscommunication between your teams if you have someone helping you, to just write it down. And there's no excuse now with ChatGPT. Dump everything in ChatGPT. It can be messy. This is my company. This is what our annual goals are. This is what I'm trying to do. Here's our most important channel. Here's our target user. But will help me create a weekly cadence for posting and refine it a little, dump it into a Google Doc, and you have it. It should be 7 minutes,
you're amazing.
not 2 hours in the old days. 7 minutes, you can create a written social media plan. And if you're working with a contractor, you have them create it for you.
Listen, I think you have a whole other niche here where
Yeah.
you just need to drop into everyone's inboxes and say, "Hey, Julie here. Today, this is what we're going to do."
Yeah. I might have to have a self-help group.
I
Yeah.
think you're doing great. I
Yeah.
think I would definitely subscribe to this.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's a great idea.
Okay, so I have something fun for us to do here, Julie. So we actually did a poll and we asked our community, we asked some pros what the top things they see other pros doing incorrectly or
Okay.
what they have done incorrectly themselves. And let me tell you,
It's a
they
lot.
pulled back. They were very brutally honest. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that. We got
I
some really
like this
good stuff.
industry because people are honest and all of
Love it.
us can learn from our mistakes. And all I will say is feedback is a gift.
Yes. I will also say pretty funny. Someone said during registration, please remember some of us are not very good at social media
Yeah.
and you may have to break this down for us older folk.
Yes. Yes.
So don't worry, we have
Yeah.
got you
And I'm
covered.
going to send you my one pager. I don't know the best way to get it out to people, but I will post this. I will make it public. I love, one day I would like to be a teacher. I love sharing knowledge. And trust me, I've learned from people that are smarter than me on my team, over the last 10 years. So the more we can share this with the industry, we think it will come back to us in kind of goodwill.
We will make sure that this gets sent with the replay link, and then we
Okay,
will also link this on our YouTube channel. So
great.
we'll have direct
Okay. And
uh,
I've always wanted, because of you, I've always wanted to share this. I never have gotten it up on my priority list to do it. So this is the instigator. This webinar that I've never done this topic before is going to get me to share this with the industry. And I think, if people, again, it's not going to be all the answers. The answer is going to be in your program and how you do it. But if you can put together a framework, a process, and a best practice and kind of tips and tricks, which we have because we've been doing this for so long, I think it could lower the anxiety level.
yeah, yeah. Well, girl, I'm just so happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
So I know you and I absolutely agree with these, and I'm sure you can even add more to these, but hopefully everyone listening to this today and in the future can make some
Yeah.
changes to maybe some of the things that they're doing in their business and comment and chime in as I go, Julie, to what you agree with. But remember, this is the poll. So this is the results of the poll, and this is what pros said, the top things they see other pros doing incorrectly or
Mhm.
what they do incorrectly
Ooh,
themselves.
this is going to be good. Can't
Can be
wait.
good.
Yeah.
Chime in the chat. Okay. Only tagging big names.
Yeah.
Okay. It's number one.
Yeah. And let me just add on to that.
Yeah.
Um, if you guys communicate and you're doing a very high-end celebrity wedding and the planner who brought you in has decided that there's going to be 5 tags, that's what's going to happen. Otherwise, you might not get hired again. So I just think that's back to the communication.
Yeah.
So there are some
Expectations.
people that are not going to have 20 credits for a very, very high-end wedding. And some, there's going to be 0 credits, like the Kardashian events, et cetera, right? Like, it gets out there eventually, but like it doesn't come out right away. So
Yeah.
it's about communication, but I do believe not talking about it is the mistake.
Correct. Yeah, you could say right there in the comment, sorry, we signed a beautiful NDA.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that gives you street cred as well, right?
Yeah.
That's just almost as good as
Yeah,
tagging.
you
But
are
that
getting
doesn't explain it.
paid. You're getting paid for this engagement,
Yes.
and the people in control of the event are driving this. But I think 99% of the time, it's more is more. That's what I think. More
Yeah.
is more. It is a certain point where it like gets a little crazy, like, the piece of the poster when you came in
Yeah.
was by, but again, my paper people out there, we
Yeah.
know there's the invitation, the napkins, the sign,
That's right.
there's a lot in there. So we think more is better, but it comes down to your team and your relationship.
Love. Okay, number two, tagging in captions, not photos. Like they drop a list in the caption way at the bottom, but forget to tag the actual
Yeah,
photo where
that's a
most
big
people
one.
click. That's a big one. You mentioned it
50,
earlier.
it's not scientific, but 50% are not doing it.
That's right. So number three, reposting without permission or proper credit.
That's a good one.
It's a good one. That's a tricky, that's
So
a
here's the thing I'd
toughie.
like to ask you. So sometimes I am tagged Julie PartySlate. PartySlate, we do everything right because I'm not doing that stuff. We have a team that has all the details. But when I'm tagged and I'm resharing, I can't copy and paste all those credits into a story. So my question to you is, what should we do?
I have to screenshot and then I toggle between my photo, my screenshot, and then actually tagging everybody.
Okay.
If it was in the original, I'm gonna I'm gonna follow suit.
But in the original, sometimes it could be venue, photographer, and you can't do that in a story. So one thing you can do is you can screenshot something, put it in a chat GPT, it will type it up for you and
Yes,
create the credits the way you need it for a story. It's an extra step, but
yes,
I hear what people are saying. You gotta credit.
I know. You just gotta it just the name's gotta be there and you gotta
Yeah.
be able to see
I
it.
do think people are a little more lenient when it's your tagged and you're sharing it. It just
Yes.
is what it is. But
Yeah. No, I agree. I
yeah,
also think the reposting without permission, whenever we use any content from any of our members here at
yeah,
Rock Point, I am the first one to ask. This was beautiful. This was stunning. We would love to celebrate you. We would love to showcase you. We would love for this to be in our
yeah,
newsletter. May we use it? Even
yes.
if they have said yes to every single request over the past 5 years I've ever asked them, you know who you are. I'm sorry. I will continue to ask you because there
Yeah.
may come a day where you're like, that's actually not my work.
Yeah.
Or that actually is not, I don't own that.
Yeah.
So let me go ask. And I don't want to just assume because it's on your feed, it belongs to you.
Yeah.
You may have direct
Yeah.
permission to put that on
Yeah.
your.
If you're not in the credits, you must ask permission
Yep,
to
just ask
repost. If you're in the credits, you don't, it's assumed and you should be reposting.
right.
Yeah.
So number five, or I'm sorry, number four, posting too fast. We talked about this earlier too, right? Posting the day after the event when
Yeah.
vendors haven't gotten the photos. It's so exciting. And that's where I think stories are wonderful.
Yeah.
Stories are great,
Yeah.
post your view, your contribution, your team behind the scenes. It can be really exciting and you want to
Yes.
share it. And I totally get wanting to get that creative process out, but stories will be gone in 24
Yes.
hours and
I
people
think that's the happy medium is using the story. You're
use the story.
excited. You got to do the crediting on the story. But
Yeah.
I think we've got to respect our photographer and videographer friends. And, yes, the iPhones and everything are getting better and better. And maybe some people can't tell the difference, but this is their livelihood. And to put your iPhone photos on your feed and then you put all the credits there and then the photographer credit, that photographer doesn't want credit for your iPhone photo. And so it's confusing. So I think the
Mhm.
best thing to do, back to communication, is to share, hey guys, go at it on stories, on your reels, but for your feed, give us 24, 48 hours to give you those sneak peeks
Yeah.
so that we can not only make all the event creative partners look great, but the photographer, this is their livelihood.
Yeah. So number 5 hit me in the feels because the rock paper coin team can tell you I'm a stickler for making sure that we credit in not just our socials but anywhere where we're using anything. And number 5 was not linking or crediting vendors on your website,
Oh, that's a big one.
blog,
Yeah.
emails, and newsletters. And I
Yes.
cannot tell you how many newsletters and email blasts I get where I'm like, oh, I know
Yeah.
that photo. That
Yeah.
is not in
Yeah.
any way a correlation of the person that's using it. And it is not, unless you pay for a subscription service to Hotstock
Yeah.
or you found it on Pexels
Yeah.
or something else,
Yeah.
then
I
you
think this
better,
industry doesn't need to do that. As a
right,
CRM company, what you guys, we don't need to get any stock photos because we have 3 million photos
right,
that we never share without crediting and linking back to that real event that has all the credits and the companies. And we don't link out to website because we want to promote all of this beautiful portfolio is on PartySlate. But from the PartySlate profile, you can get to the website, you can get to social media. It's a connector. And
yeah,
so our goal is to create a beautiful, easy to use, low cost portfolio sharing tool that can help you, yes, build your business, build your brand, but also have all that crediting effect I talked about, kind of like LinkedIn for the events industry, where the companies connect.
that's right. Okay, number 6 is using generic verbiage. The dream team, my
Yeah,
amazing vendor crew.
yeah. There's
Don't
no
do that.
excuse. Chat GPT it up.
Don't do that. Number 7, taking all the credit in press submissions. I know that one is definitely,
Yeah.
I've seen that one. That
Yeah, I
one
mean,
stinks.
I
That one
think
stinks. Because
with
there's no
it,
edit. When you're in a
yeah,
magazine, there's no edit.
yeah.
Maybe a little bit more when it's a virtual,
It used to be a bigger
publication.
problem than it is today because, print advertising is down 95%
Yeah,
over the last 10 years. And so now it's more about social media, PartySlate, SEO, other things. But 1 out of 1 million weddings is going to get into Vogue. And if you think you have one of those that get into Vogue, absolutely, it's got to be perfection. But there's no guarantee, People Magazine, Vogue, that you're going to get named in that article. No
yeah,
guarantee. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
again, you can make news of news on social media. Let's say you're not named in People Magazine.
Correct.
Then you're going to take
Correct.
the People Magazine logo, put it over your photo, featured in People Magazine. So I always say, make news of news. So
That's
don't,
right.
yes, I would be devastated if it was my event and I didn't get any credit, but then just know the glass half full is I was in People Magazine, or, Vogue would be better. I was in Vogue weddings. I like People Magazine. But again, whatever it is, a high profile, there's only 10 or 15 magazines that are going to make it. Okay. So like we've already had 90% closed down. You guys see what's happening with all the magazines out there. So the ones that are still there, I like my magazine. I'm digital. So the ones that are out there, just know if you don't get credited, 9 times out of 10, you're not, you can make news of news on social media.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one, number 8, being defensive when called out. And I want everyone to remember when we started this chat,
Mhm.
we have all done it. We are
Yes.
human. It's
Yes.
okay. We love you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
do
think
not be
about your
defensive.
loved one. Think about your loved one when my husband from time to time comes to me with a question about a credit card bill. Just think about this. If he's like,
How dare he?
what is this big expense? About, I'm busting my butt and working kids and doing all this stuff. He's like, hey, when we have our, planning, we got to look at travel schedules. Let's also go through the credit card together. I have a couple questions. That's very different. So when it comes to crediting, you should be like, hey, I know there's a lot going on, whatever. For the next post, here's my Instagram handle. I was missed. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. That's a better approach.
Absolutely. This is a
Benefit of the doubt.
large planet,
Yeah.
a small world.
Yeah. Repeat offenders are not going to make it in this industry.
No,
So
your
if
past
someone is
will cost
consistently doing it, that's detrimental to your business. If you make a mistake, PartySlate makes mistakes a couple times a year on our Instagram. It's typically because the credits were wrong for the person that posted it. We fix it within 10 seconds. We fix it. We apologize. We ask, can we also post another event of yours on PartySlate? We have a 2-3 million a month reach. So we make it right, but just give people a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, girl, this has been
And
amazing
don't
today.
forget about LinkedIn. Don't forget.
I know. I'm telling you, LinkedIn's going to
Don't
have a moment.
forget. Yeah.
It will. It's going to
Yeah.
have a resurgence. It's coming. I feel it.
It's a huge platform, and the parents of the bride, the corporate event that you're doing, the whatever, they're on LinkedIn, and it's not
Yeah,
just people
especially
looking for
corporate events.
jobs. Yeah, go to
Corporate
ChatGPT and say LinkedIn stats, how do I stand out, blah, 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 blah. There's tons of articles on it, but it will save you time to just get a personalized plan. But I would challenge everyone, again, I'm not getting paid by LinkedIn. I just want to help your business, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Get your content. It should be on Instagram, LinkedIn, a few others. PartySlate, I encourage you to try our free profile if you're not on it already. You can post up to 3 events. You can, like, we want to earn the right to work with you. Figure out ways to get your content out there, because no other industry in the world has professional content creators, photographers and videographers built in. Retail, pharmaceuticals, banking, CRM companies, we at the events industry have built-in content creators, and you gotta let it free, let that content out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, girl. Okay. Again, this has been amazing. And I want to ask everyone to do a little something here. So we are so appreciative of your time and this incredible conversation. So I want everyone to think about your biggest aha moment from this session. I want you to snap a pic of your screen right now. Smile.
I
Tag
should have put on a
RPC.
little bit more, I should have put on a little bit more lipstick.
Um, Tag us, tag RPC, tag Party Slate, tag Julie at Party Slate, and share your aha moment with us both, because this is the kind of thing, we love having these conversations and we love bringing this education to the table. But what we love even more is learning about how, you heard it and what resonated with you and what we should be talking about in the future. So thank
Yeah.
you for that. I did also want to just mention that we have another webinar coming up in October, a little bonus, and it is going to be a little prep into taxes. However, it's got a little spin on it. It is things that you should be purchasing before the end of the year that you will be able to wrap up into your taxes in the next spring. So that's going to be a really, really great one. We'll have more information about that out very soon. But first, Julie, my friend, thank you so,
Thank
so
you.
much for being here today, for lending your expertise, your experience, and teaching us so much about a topic that is incredibly important and very, very valuable. This was amazing.
Thank you. And
Thank
thank
you
you
for your
for inviting me to be here. I love what Rock Paper Coin is building. I love being supportive of female tech founders. There's not many of us in the industry or in the tech world. And you guys are doing something really special. And Nora, Elizabeth, your whole team, you guys are onto something really big. And this platform is just icing on the cake, sharing your learnings on all areas of the industry.
The feelings are mutual, my friend, and I am very excited to be able to hug you in a few short weeks at
Yes.
your Party Slate event in Charleston. So
Charleston, November 5th. And if people on the Zoom want to know more about upcoming events, I can also send you a link to that. We have about 10 or 11 events a year, and they're all, free events, community for members, non-members. And we always have an educational component, because we feel that the give back is important. It's great for the brand. And we want to help the industry become better digital marketers.
I love that. So take this away today. Remember that bad crediting is not just about hurt feelings. It is about business loss. And I really want everyone to hear that. When your work isn't credited, you're losing future inquiries, backlinks, collaborations, and more. If
Mm.
a photo of your work is floating around on the internet without your name on it, you're building someone else's business,
Mhm.
not your own. And a missing tag will lose you that client as they take that photo and bring it to another vendor as inspo. So we really hope you take this to heart. We are here to help you if you have any additional questions, and just keep learning. We're so happy you are here. So thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.